So there's a lot of excitement and interest out there right now for something called Sky Glass. What I want to do in this video though, this is a money channel. I'm going to take you through the costs. I'm going to help you work out whether this is worth you trading in your existing Sky Q service or maybe even upgrading from your Now TV subscription you've got right now. That's what this video is about. But let's take you through some of those differences between Sky Glass and those other services because they're quite substantial. First of all, the big difference with Sky Glass is that it's not just a normal box that you get and a dish on the wall. This is actually a TV set as well, okay? You are buying a Sky branded TV. Now, I've not been able to get my hands on one of these. I've looked at some reviews of people who've had them, and it seems as a piece of tech, it's pretty decent. And in terms of the costs, again, that seems pretty favorable as well. So this is how much it's going to cost you for a Sky Glass TV set. There are 3 different size options. There are 5 different colors as well, but the color doesn't affect the price. But the 3 different price options. The 43-inch, that's the entry-level one of these Sky Glass TVs, will cost you, if you paid up front, outright the whole thing, which is generally how we pay for TVs, right? Most of us, 649 quid. But there are some options to make it over payments over 2 years or 4 years. And this is at 0%. In fact, when you spread the payment out, it's going to save you a little bit of money. Not a huge amount, but a little bit of money. So with that 43-inch one, you can pay £13 a month for 48 months, so for 4 years. And you pay £10 up front as well. Seems a bit weird, but they've got that as well. You pay a total of £634. So you're saving yourself, what's that, 15 quid. If you pay £26 a month, so double that amount over 24 months, so half the amount of time, but with a £20 upfront fee, it's £644. So the cheapest way to get the TV, and the same for the other models I'll go through in a moment, is to spread it out over 48 months. At the end of that 48 months or 24 months, whatever it is, you own it. It is yours. It's not like with the other things, maybe you have to return the box if you leave them, whatever. That TV is yours. Next size up, 55-inch Sky Glass TV, £849 up front. If you spread it over 48 months, it's £17 a month. If you did it over 24 months, it is £34 a month. And they do, again, work out roughly sort of 10, 15, 20 quid cheaper than if you paid up front. And the last one, a massive 65-inch TV. We couldn't fit it in our house. Don't know about yours. That is massive. £1,049 up front. So it's the most expensive, as you'd expect, from all 3 sets. £21 a month for 48 months and £10 up front, or £42 a month for 24 months and £20 up front. And again, you're saving yourself there 20 to maybe even 30 quid if you spread it out over installments. Now, let's just talk about the cost of this TV first of all before we get onto actual Sky packages. I thought that seems okay for those prices. And one thing you've got to bear in mind with this TV, this Sky Glass TV, is it's not just a 4K set. It's also got inbuilt sound bars and stuff, which, having looked at some of those kind of the techie websites that have had a go at this and know about all the different TVs, they say that this cost, with all those things factors together and what it seems to deliver in terms of picture and sound, that it's actually pretty decent value. It's not too bad an option if you're looking to buy a new TV. But I think you can still get cheaper TVs, and I would encourage you to have a look and just shop around at different models. Now, I had a very quick look at the Currys website, okay? Didn't do a massive shop around, just a quick look at Currys. A 43-inch Samsung 4K TV, they're kind of like their middle range one, not their top end, but their middle range one will cost you £479. The 55-inch one will cost you £549. The 65-inch one will cost you £629. So some real quite significant difference there, particularly on that 65-inch set. Of course, that doesn't include the soundbar. So if you want a decent Samsung soundbar, it looks like the cost of that's going to be around £200 to £300, so quite expensive. And that does make that difference a little bit smaller. But still, for most of those, it is going to be cheaper for you to buy elsewhere, particularly because these Sky Glass sets, that's the cost. There are no sale offers, there are no sort of discounts available. You just pay what it is. Maybe in time there'll be special deals that come along, some little combos and stuff, but right now those costs are set. Whereas the other ones, well, you can look for voucher codes. You can wait for sales to come along. We're recording this now at the start of October, so the end of October. Black Friday is a month away. The Christmas sales, the New Year sales are a couple of months away. The new TV sets from all the big brands, Sony, Samsung, whoever it might be, they come out in the spring. And generally what happens when the new set comes out in the spring is the previous models get discounted heavily. They get rid of them, they clear them out. And often the difference between the model from, let's say, the 2021 model right now and the 2022 model that comes out next year, often they're quite minor. Yet sometimes there are wholesale changes, but often it's oh, we've just sort of changed the color of the frame slightly, or the stand is a different shape, or maybe we've added an HDMI point on the back or whatever. So I think, yes, this TV looks good. The reviews in advance sound pretty good, and the cost seems pretty good, but I think you can save money going elsewhere. So that's my first thought on the Sky Glass, okay? Looks lovely. I think you could get something that does exactly the same job, more or less the same job, for a lot less money. Of course, it's not just a TV, Sky Glass. It's also the fact that it's got its own inbuilt system. So if you're familiar with Sky already, or you had it in the past, you've got that interface which will come with that Sky box that you'd have under the telly. That's all gone. It's all built into the TV. But that means you get something similar to Sky Q if you've used it on your TV. So your one remote does it all. I should actually say we're talking about one remote doing it all. There's also quite nice, quite like the idea of this from an aesthetic point of view, that Sky Glass TV has one cable coming out the back for, replacing the 3 you would have before for your sound box, your Sky box, and the TV. So that's a little thing anyway. But ultimately, you are going to have that interface, that Sky interface inside, which for some people, that is going to be a big, big bonus. But let's go on to now. Let's just talk a little bit more about some of the other major differences in terms of how you use Sky that's going to come as a result of moving to a Sky Glass TV set and the Sky Glass subscription that comes with that. The first thing to sort of bear in mind here is that the satellite dish is gone. So you're no longer going to have something on the side of your house. Now, some people might like that. They might not have been able to get Sky because they've not been allowed to have a Sky dish or whatever it might be. So you might think, right, this is my way to get it. But instead, and this is really, really significant, instead, you're getting all your Sky TV channels via the internet, IPTV. Now, we're all familiar with this, right? We've been using iPlayer and Netflix and Disney Plus and whatever for years and years and years. And Sky is selling this as a bonus, as an advantage. Okay, for a handful of people who couldn't get Sky before, it is. But the people who watch my other video and comment about why they like Sky Q rather than Now TV, that's partly of that is because they don't have to worry about the broadband speed. They don't have to worry about the internet going out or buffering. They have got, as long as the weather might interfere, obviously, but they have got a dish on the side that brings the pictures in, and that means they can watch even if the internet is down. With Sky Glass, you can't. Okay, so that's one really, really important thing to bear in mind here. And also the speed. If you need, Sky say you need 10 megabits a second in order to watch the normal channels via Sky Glass. If you want to do it in 4K, that needs to be even faster. And if you want to be streaming multiple things at the same time, and obviously that needs to be even faster still. So that's something really, really important to remember. The other thing to think about here, which I think is very, very different to your normal Sky viewing experience, and something else that people who love Sky Q and aren't keen on Now TV often tell me, the reason they don't want to move to Now TV is that you can't record. There is no box, there is no hard drive. What you're doing instead is when you go to kind of the planner and you go to press record or whatever it is, it's not record anymore, it's adding it to a playlist. And what effectively this is doing, it's giving you on a single page a shortcut to the on-demand app. Now, so what? What's the difference there really? If you can watch your show, what's the difference? And there isn't. But the problem is, as we know, the reason people like to record shows is because what happens when it disappears from the app? Now, you see that quite often with shows when the movies on Sky Cinema, for example, they're there for a bit and then they disappear. Or if you're using something like iPlayer or for all four, those on-demand platforms for the Freeview channels, again, shows aren't always there. They can sometimes disappear. So if you can't record it, you can't keep it. As soon as it's gone off those different systems, you will lose it. So again, that's a really massive thing you have to bear in mind here if you're thinking of changing over. The other thing to tell you about, and this is more of a positive thing, this is the first time that Sky, on an official Sky outlet, doesn't have an 18-month contract. Because although I talked about those TV costs, and you can spread those TV costs over 24 or 48 months, that is completely separate to your Sky subscription itself. Completely separate. And instead, rather than signing up as you would with Sky Q to a minimum of 18 months for the packages that you want, this is a rolling 31-day contract. So yes, you sign up for Sky Glass, you will have the Sky packages you choose, but only for 31 days. If you want to cancel them, you can. The TV payments can carry on over here, but you can cancel your Sky after 31 days. Or maybe 6 months in, you want to change it. You want to add in sport just for 1 month. You can do that. Or you want to drop this, drop that. You can do that at any time. That's a positive. One of the big reasons why I do encourage people to move from Sky to Now TV is that lack of a contract, giving you that flexibility to mix and match as you wish. Sky Cinema has been really awful during the pandemic because, and it's not their fault, but because there haven't been the big cinema releases, therefore there haven't been the movies coming through later on through to Sky. Yes, there's been a few exclusives, a few extras which have been fantastic and a few nice ones to watch. And that will change as we go into 2022 because more of these movies are in the cinema, so they will come through. But it would have given you that option to say, right, I don't want Sky Cinema at all. Maybe I'll get it at Christmas and maybe I'll get it a couple of months, other months of the year. You could only do that previously with Now TV, but if you have Sky Glass, you can do that. Really important to say here, Sky Q is staying the same. That is not changing. It's just if you're with Sky Glass. But absolutely, I think that's a positive move from Sky, and that's something you might be tempted to think about Sky Glass over Sky Q. Now, the actual costs for the packages, though, are exactly the same on Sky Glass and on Sky Q. So that's not going to be any more expensive or any cheaper for the standard like bundle. So it could be, you know, your Sky TV Ultimate package, that's still there. You can add in cinema, add in sport, whatever it might be. Those prices will flex how you do it. You do still have to have the Ultimate TV package as a base. You can't get rid of that. So as long as you want those channels, that's not necessarily a bad thing. But if you only really want sport, then again, this doesn't change that. You have to have those channels, pay that 26 quid a month and add your sport on top of that. The other thing is there are some awesome additional costs. Now, if you're a regular Sky user anyway, or indeed a Now customer as well, you'll be familiar with a few of these extras that you might want if you want to upgrade the picture quality or if you want to be able to use more than one device around the home. That is the same here. You will have to, although HD is included in Sky Glass, where it's an extra cost with Sky Q, you will have to pay extra if you want UHD. You will have to pay extra if you want multi-room. That is going to be £10 a month. That's cheaper than it is with Sky Q, which is £15 a month. But you will have to buy with Sky Glass, I think, on a Sky Puck. And it seems to me from the research that I found, they're 50 quid a pop. So that's like buying a very, very expensive streaming stick plus £10 a month in order to have that Sky experience in different rooms. Personally, I would sort of say, well, just buy a streaming stick and watch those other things around the room. Stick with Now TV, but we'll come back to that in a minute. The other really interesting extra charge that you might want to consider as well is, if you think about it, if you're recording something normally on Sky, when the adverts come along, you fast forward, don't you? You can't fast forward live adverts, but you can fast forward ones you record. You can't record anymore. It's all on demand. So the adverts are going to be played in. Now, for the first year, you can fast forward them, no charge. After that, it's going to be an extra £5 a month, so 60 quid a year for you to fast forward through adverts. So there's a lot of information I've given you there. I'm aware of that. Don't worry, I've got a whole article over on becleverwithyourcash.com on my website, which will take you through all those features, take you through those different costs, Sky Q and Sky Glass, so you can have a bit more sort of detailed read after watching this. But fundamentally, if you're thinking of moving from Sky Q to Sky Glass, well, I wouldn't do it personally. I would stick with Sky Q because although you are locked into that 18-month contract, which I am not a fan of, as I said, I'm not a fan of this, you do get extras. You get that sort of kind of stability of a satellite connection coming in. So you don't have to worry about the broadband cutting out and you lose access to all your channels. You get that ability to record, which although I use it less and less and less from my Freeview recorder, I don't have Sky, I've got a Freeview recorder, it's still nice to have that. And I think even though the 18-month contract is a bit of a pain, if you're committed to Sky, if you're absolutely like, I am sticking with proper Sky TV, then go with Q over Glass. I think it's a much, much sort of better option for you. And even if you really want the TV, you really want the Sky Glass TV, well, you can still get that. You can pay upfront for that, own that Sky Glass TV, and still plug your normal Sky box in the back. But of course, I still really would encourage you to move from Sky to Now. Used to be called Now TV. Again, I've got a whole video taking you through why I think you should ditch Sky for Now. That'll be linked to below. I really think you are getting, particularly with Sky Glass, if you think of Sky Glass essentially as a streaming service, right? Forget the TV. The channels you're watching is a streaming service. All the reasons people say they didn't want Now TV are gone. Now TV is Sky Glass in almost the same way. Yes, that interface is going to be different. Yes, you might find a few little things aren't quite the same. But in terms of how much you will pay, you will save money with Now. And a lot of people say to me, but hang on, I never pay full price for my Sky Q. I can probably haggle and get a deal on Sky Glass, whatever it is. Yeah, that's true. It's always great to haggle and try and get that price down. But two things here. My experience of the haggling with Sky often is they'll give you something extra for free. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll throw this in. which is great if you want it. Half the time, this is something you don't necessarily need or want. It's extra channels that you're never going to watch, never get around to seeing. It's maybe a slightly bit of a boost or on your broadband speed, or maybe it's some phone calls if you've got the whole bundled package. Okay, so that's for a start. Often those haggling gives you a saving, but a saving that you don't necessarily need. But secondly, I never pay full price for Now TV. Ever, ever, ever. Never pay full price. So although, as you'll see in that article, some of the costs might feel a bit similar, particularly if you want the Sky Sports channels, which do kind of, make it sometimes a better option to stick with Sky than go with Now TV. If you get the deals, you get the offers, you can bring those prices right down as well. Really, really, really cheap. And compared to Sky Q, you still got that functionality, that ability to mix and match. If you don't want any of the channels at all for a month, or you want to have cinema 1 month, entertainment the next, sport the next, you've got that flexibility. And although Sky Glass has that, again, I think the other sort of downsides to it aren't fantastic. Make sure you watch some of my other videos on Sky and Now TV and how to save money with those. My name is Andy Webb. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, cheers.